Hey, what's going on, y'all? I wanted to talk about, and I've been wanting to talk about this for a while now, for actually the past, I say, 3 or 4 weeks. Um, I wanted to speak on the new Boondocks season 4 that recently got picked up, and everybody was excited for because we remember the previous 3 seasons that were so great, and the social commentary in them, and the humor, and et cetera, et cetera. But when the season first came on, episode 1, you had a lot of reviews out here, and I remember I was one of the ones that came out and did a review on the first season. Excuse me, not the first season, the first episode, and I had kind of a rocky perspective on it. It was some humor in there, but it didn't really move me like episodes from the previous 3 seasons. And I mentioned that in the very first episode. I was like, okay, I was kind of optimistic about it because I was like, okay, well, I don't really know what's going to happen later down the line. Maybe it just was an episode that they threw out there for the first one because they want to grab everybody's attention. I understand marketing and everything like that. I do that for a living, so a lot of times you have to. It might not be the best episode, but it's the episode that's going to draw in the viewers. At the time, we had a lot of shenanigans, and everything going on with Chris Brown, so they used that as being the tool that was going to bring everybody in for the first episode, because that's very important. If the first episode was whack, a lot of people wouldn't have came back to see it. But I've sat back and I've watched every episode from season 4. I'm not somebody that's critiquing it, and I watch it here and there. I think a lot of people out here they like to talk about things like hip hop or certain movies, or so on and so on, and they don't even really have a overall understanding of what's going on. How could you critique something and you haven't even sat back and watched the movie or really understand the culture of hip hop or today's culture of hip hop, and et cetera, et cetera. So I have sat back and watched every single episode up to this moment, and I'm disappointed in it. I know that Aaron McGruder wasn't one of the producers on this season, and that could be why I'm not really getting moved by it anymore. I believe they said it wasn't that he didn't want to work on the show, but he had some other things going on at the moment when they really want to push the season 4. He wasn't available, and it could be some other things too. But I'll just keep it at that for right now. But um, I'm not getting moved from it. It seemed like they just made a whole bunch of episodes to basically just say, yeah, we're back on the air. It's a setup scene, a setup joke, and then a punchline. It's like it's not really flowing the way I would like it to flow. Another thing, they're not dropping no jewels, no knowledge on the show. It's trash in my opinion. You got Uncle Ruckus and that character, even though he shows a level of self hatred that comes from our community. I'm not really getting it from him. I'm not really seeing them display and kick certain things through his character like they did in the previous seasons. This season is kind of based around, or somewhat based around, um, Huey Freeman and Riley Freeman and the grandfather losing their home, and then they had to live out in some type of woods area or whatever, and then they actually came back to the house, so they kind of themed it around that. But then even when you look at the episodes, it's kind of out of sync. It's like everything's not really flowing. They just have an episode here, 2 episodes that might coincide with the previous one, and then they're on to something else. Then they go to another level. So it's like it's not really flowing the way the previous seasons were. I'm not seeing any social commentary out of the show like the previous seasons where we had the episode with R. Kelly. Probably one of the best episodes they've made. Funny as hell, but also they were kicking some knowledge. They were showing how even though this man was accused for molesting a minor, because his music is so hot, or because he's a so-called king of R&B, and we like the way he sounds, people throw that out the window, and they forgot about the fact that this man was on tape having sex with an underage girl. So there were a lot of things they were kicking. They were kicking a lot of knowledge, and really making people think in the previous seasons. But this season, I'm just not getting it, and in my opinion, it's trash. And if they're not gonna come back full strong, if you're not gonna have good writers who know how to make the show funny, make the show interesting, come up with good storylines, but also kick that knowledge that I feel like not just the black community needs, but people all across the world need, then it's like, why even bring it back? And this is just my observation, somebody being a fan of Boondocks and watching every episode this season and from the previous season. I've seen every episode that the Boondocks have made, and this season right here is a real big disappointment. And to say that, they said this was the last season, they weren't coming back after this, I'm disappointed because, if you only going to make one more season, I mean, you guys got to hit hard. The writing's got to be on point, the humor's got to be on point, and you got to kick that knowledge. I'm talking about that knowledge that will last for decades to come. But, this is just my opinion on it, my observation, someone being a fan of the Boondocks and someone that, is disappointed as a fan. I don't think they really delivered. And I don't know if it's the writing. Hey, hire me. I'm a good writer. Hire me. I'll definitely, bring the humor and the and the social commentary. But it's lacking in this season, and it's not really moving me. I'm not feeling it. But you guys give me your feedback on what you feel about this season 4 of the Boondocks. If you check it out, if you don't watch the show that much, or maybe you've seen just a couple of episodes, yeah, you can chime in. But if you've only seen 1 or 2 episodes, you really don't have a broad perspective of the season. So, but I would like to hear everybody's opinion anyway. But I'm out. Peace.